Hey guys, it's Caitlin again, and today I wanted to get very personal with you guys and tell you guys more of my background on why I decided to start this business with, helping other people repair their credit to allow myself to build wealth. So let me ask you, how many people are in situations that they can't get out of? Well, I was one of them. I was in a situation, a very toxic situation, a very physically, mentally, and verbally abusive relationship. I have two little boys, and I was in a situation where I was in a relationship where, of course, the man, he was providing for me. I had a place to lay my head at night. I also worked like 5 days a week, and I was also a college student too. And I just kind of felt like I was stuck. So if you guys know how it feels to be stuck, you're not the only one. I was one of them. But I had to definitely make a change, right? I was tired of it. Sometimes, we get so tired of things, we don't really know what to do, or we're just scared to take that leap of faith, because our situation is somewhat good. We have, kind of everything that we need. Your kids are in school maybe, or, you have your good job, or you're in college somewhere, whatever the case may be. You're kind of comfortable, but it's not any good for you or your kids. And again, I was in a situation where I was in a very verbally and abusive, physically too, mentally and verbally. I was tired of having bruises on me, or I was tired of calling out of work because I just got into a fight that morning before work with my son's father, and I didn't want to go to work looking crazy. It was just one of those situations for me, and I just felt like, man, you're 22 years old, you're young, you have so much life ahead of you. Why do you keep putting yourself in that same predicament, right? So I had to take a leap of faith, and I had to kind of lose out on everything that I had. I was going to school to be a nurse. I did 2 years of my prerequisites for college. I was working 5 days a week, but I've always wanted to be a nurse. That was always a dream that I had, but in my situation, I couldn't really continue to pursue it because things started to get really tough. I had not too well of a credit score. I wasn't really in the predicament financially, to get out of my situation. So I'm like, what am I gonna do to get out of this crazy situation? Unfortunately, I had to take a leap of faith. I had to set myself back, right? Sometimes, you have to take a setback to have a setup for a better comeback, right? And so what I did was I got out of my situation. I moved back to my family with my 2 kids. That's not ideal. That's not something anybody wants to do, but I didn't want to continue to stay in that situation because it was only breaking me down, and I knew I was so much more powerful than that. But I kind of started disrespecting myself by continuing to put up with that disrespect. So I went back home, and I'm like, hey, what are you gonna do? You're home now. You're not in college right now for your dream of being a nurse. You're not at that same job you worked at for the last year. What are you gonna do? Well, I got introduced to United Wealth Education, and this was a business that was gonna allow me to build wealth for myself, for my kids, and not only my kids, for my family. Some of us, don't come from the best family. What I mean is your family may not be all the way financially set. And I wanted to break the generational curse of not coming from a wealthy family. And you know what they say, if you don't come from a wealthy family, a wealthy family better come from you. So I'm like, I'm gonna be the one that my wealthy family, I'm gonna be the one that brings the wealth. I'm gonna bring the one to break these generational curses. And I was introduced to this company that I knew there was a lot of wealth involved, right? I knew that, it may not happen right away, but I had to get started somewhere. And sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith and just get started. You may not have, the vision of being able to see where you're gonna be, but you know that you're gonna go somewhere. And that was me. So let me ask you this. How many of you guys know that, how many of you guys have you been in a situation where you kind of have a group of people around you, and maybe a family member, maybe your best friend, or it just may be your coworkers? They complain about being in their unfortunate situation. Everybody has a different situation that may be unfortunate, but I was around that. I was surrounded by people that complained all the time about being broke, complained all the time because they're mad because their parents aren't wealthy, so they feel like they can't be wealthy. But that's not the case. They say if you hang around 5 broke people, you're gonna be the 6th one. Well, I was one of those. I was around 5 broke-minded people, broke-pocketed people. I was surrounded by just too much broke people, and I got tired of it. And so what I decided to do was join a business that was gonna allow me to be around successful people, people that live very wealthy. You know, they might live in a very nice house, or they might have a very nice car. And not that it's all about the money and what people live in and what they ride in, but it's just about the wealth that they have. You know, don't you want to put your kids in the best education system? Don't you want to live in, you know, one of the nicest places in your city? Don't you want to ride in one of the nicest cars riding around in your city? I mean, I did. I mean, not that I care about materialistic things, but I mean, that also comes along with the wealth that I could bring, right? And, you know, so when I joined this company, I was able to be introduced to so many people that had so much wealth. And although I was 22, I knew I could get there too. You know, I didn't think that I had to wait 65 years to get those things, right? And this company, you know, allowed me to build a lot of wealth. It introduced me to a lot of wealth, as I should say. It showed me that, hey, like, anything is possible as long as you put your mind to it. And, you know, the business of being able to help other people would only allow me to help myself. The more people that I could help, the more money that I could make. Joining this company, I knew that it was going to teach me some things I didn't know. Being fresh out of high school, I mean, I'm 22 years old. Obviously, that means I graduated high school not too long ago. And in high school, they don't teach you about finances. They don't teach you about credit. They don't teach you how to be financially literate. They don't teach you a way to make a living so you can keep yourself above water. They just teach you to, you know, go to school and work for 45 years and then boom, that's it. Well, this company was able to teach me about budgeting, life insurance, taxes, credit, you know, finances and all. You know, this is very important nowadays. You need these things for, I mean, almost everything. And so how does it feel to be ignorant to what you need to know, you know, to be able to like elevate in life? I mean, I felt like I was pretty ignorant for a while. I mean, I didn't know anything about this, and it's not a good look. It's not attractive. And not only that, how am I gonna ever be able to elevate if I don't know about these things? So being able to join a company that is gonna teach me these things, but also allow me to make money at the same time was one of the best decisions, you know, that I could ever have made. So how many of you are sick and tired of being sick and tired? Moms or dads, single moms, single dads, or even if you guys are a family. How many of you are tired of, you know, going to the gas station and not having enough money to fill up your gas tank? Or do you know how it feels to go to the grocery store and, you know, you get to the cash register and you're watching the total add up and you're like, oh dang, I only have $200 to spend, but you're at $220 and you got to start, hey, take that off and put that back. I don't need it. It's not that you don't need it, you're just in a situation where you can't afford it. Is that a good feeling? How many of you guys know how it feels to go to a store and your kids say, Mommy, I want this, or Daddy, can I please have this? And you have to tell them no because you're in a situation where you got to go pay bills, you can't afford that. Why is that okay? It's definitely an uncomfortable situation. I can tell you, I remember, especially when I was 17, when I had my first son. I have a 4-year-old, I'm 22 now. I remember just overdrafting my bank account and having to like text my dad, hey dad, my account overdrafted. If I don't give it the money back, it's gonna charge me an additional fee. It's already overdrafted, I already could afford that. So what makes you think that I wanna pay this fee? I had to ask my dad, if he's watching this, he could tell you, hey dad, can I have this money to pay back, you know, my overdraft before I have this overdraft fee on top of the overdraft? Like, it's not a good feeling, you guys. I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I was ready to make a change. And I want you to know that you can also make a change. I'm in a business where I'm surrounded by several six-figure earners, and I'm not talking about just $100,000 a year. I'm talking about big numbers. I'm surrounded by 7-figure earners, people that are living very wealthy. Kids are in the greatest education system. They might live in a high-rise. They might drive a Lamborghini. They might drive something very nice. And we have a mentorship group that will allow you to understand it is exactly what we do. We'll walk you through the process. I will hold you by your hand. I know how it feels to be in an uncomfortable situation, and it hurts me to see anybody else in that same situation. It touches. You know, it touches when you used to go through the same thing. It might make you a little emotional. It might make me shed a tear. And I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to help everyone. If you want to change, I'll give you guys my personal contact number. I will insert it right here in this video. Feel free to text me. I want to walk you through this. I want to hold you by your hand, and I want to guide you through being able to build wealth for yourself and for your family. And I want to help you get out of your uncomfortable situations. So that's it here for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I touched some of you guys, and I just want to remind you one more time. Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith to get out of your uncomfortable situation. Sometimes you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation to get out of your uncomfortable situation. And just remember, every setback is a setup for a better comeback. Nice talking.